Australia joins largest ever collective expulsion of Russian intelligence officers. Arizona governor forbids Uber from resuming self-driving tests. There's no free lunch with Facebook, and Mexico and the U.S. sign accords on customs and border cooperation. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm your host, Joseph Garza. Let's move on to the information. The United States, its European allies, and now Australia are expelling dozens of Russian diplomats in a coordinated response to the poisoning of a former Russian spy in the UK. More than 20 countries have aligned with the UK, expelling more than 100 diplomats. Russia continues to deny any role in the attack on Sergei Skripal and his daughter Julia in Salisbury, southern England. The pair remain in a critical but stable condition. European Union leaders agreed last week it was highly likely that Russia was behind the nerve agent poisoning. UK Premier Theresa May said President Putin's regime is carrying out acts of aggression against our shared values and interests within our continent and beyond. The Russian Foreign Ministry said the moves demonstrated a continuation of a confrontational path. Its statement said, "It goes without saying that this unfriendly act by this group of countries will not go without notice, and we will react to it." Australia also weighed into the diplomatic crisis on Tuesday, announcing it would expel 2 Russian diplomats in response to the poisoning of the ex-spy Skripal. In a press conference, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull called this a shocking crime, a shocking infringement on the sovereignty of the UK. Foreign Affairs Minister Julie Bishop told reporters she expects Russia will expel a commensurate number of Australian diplomats in response, and that Australia is preparing for that situation to unfold at its Moscow embassy. Whatever the denials, Britain's allies have clearly accepted its view that the use of a military-grade nerve agent in Salisbury was highly likely the work of the Russian state. The collective expulsions from the U.S., European Union, and other NATO member states is a remarkable show of solidarity with Britain, even more so because it comes at a time when UK and European Union relations are strained due to the Brexit negotiations. In other news, Arizona's Governor Doug Ducey wrote to Uber on Monday saying there had been an unquestionable failure to make safety their top priority. This comes in wake of a fatal accident during autonomous testing. Uber, in rebuttal, said it would help investigators in any way we can. Ducey referenced a video released of an incident within his letter. It shows the car's operator, present in the driver's seat, however with the vehicle in autonomous mode, looking down rather than directly at the road for about 5 seconds before the nighttime accident. "I found the video to be disturbing and alarming, and it raises many questions about the ability of Uber to continue testing in Arizona," he wrote. He added that he had ordered officials to suspend the firm's right to drive autonomous vehicles on local roads pending the outcome of inquiries by national transport safety regulators. The governor's new tone is in stark contrast to the statement he gave in 2016 when he welcomed the company's self-driving fleet with open arms and wide open roads. Uber launched its autonomous driving vehicle experiments in the state after being ordered to halt tests in San Francisco because it had failed to obtain a required permit. In a related development, the chief of Intel's rival self-driving program suggested its Mobileye tech would have prevented last week's fatality. The head of Google's autonomous car division, Waymo, had also said its tech would have been able to handle such situations. In other news, whether you're using Facebook, Twitter, Google, or the other myriad free internet services, you're always paying somehow. In the case of Facebook, you're giving up your personal information. You've probably heard the phrase, "There's no such thing as a free lunch." But how about this one? If you're not paying, you're not the customer, you're the product. In case you weren't already acutely aware, the information gathered about you by Facebook, your interests, your age, your location, your gender, etc., is used to sell advertisements directed at its over 2 billion users. Rather than you paying Facebook to use its social network, Facebook makes its money by selling ads. Recent reports regarding the use of Facebook data by Cambridge Analytica sparked enough outrage that the hashtag #DeleteFacebook began trending. As a result, major names like Apple CEO Tim Cook have spoken out against the company. Even a former Facebook executive, the WhatsApp co-founder Brian Acton, tweeted, it is time to #delete Facebook, which sparked the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk, to remove his company's presence from Facebook. The same type of information used by Cambridge Analytica was also used by Russian bots leading up to the 2016 US presidential election. Thousands of ads were purchased by fake Russian accounts. Facebook and other free service companies are in the business of using user data to make money. They aren't regulated like public utilities, and they aren't necessarily in the business of protecting your best interests. It's an important question to keep in mind when considering your use of services like Facebook and Twitter in the modern era. As the product in this equation, you, the user, can opt out altogether, and without a product, perhaps companies like Facebook will more carefully address your interests as they re-examine their business models. In other news, in a joint news conference with U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen, Mexico's Foreign Minister Luis Videgaray said the first agreement aimed to promote joint cooperation to stop illegal merchandise crossing the border has been discussed. The two agreed to implement programs of joint inspections of cargo between the neighbors, whose bilateral trade is worth $500 billion per year. It's about creating efficiencies, Videgaray said. Finally, the government signed an accord that would promote the trade of agricultural goods, the minister added. Nielsen said the two countries were also working on about 20 further memorandums of understanding and letters of intent. Border security needs to be ramped up to halt the illicit flow of arms, Mexico's Interior Minister Alfonso Navarrete said in a subsequent joint news conference with Nielsen. There needs to be much more caution taken to reduce gradually but conclusively the high levels of violence when arms enter Mexico illegally, Navarrete added. The neighboring nations also need to share the responsibility of attending to refugee and asylum cases, he said. Mexican-U.S. relations have been strained by U.S. President Donald Trump's insistence that Mexico pay for the southern border wall he wants built to keep out illegal immigrants. Tensions have also been stirred by Trump's repeated threats to dump the 24-year-old North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, if it is not reworked to his satisfaction. And finally, let's take a look at the markets. The Mexican peso decreased 0.05% to 18.3624 from 18.3710 in the previous trading session. On the other hand, the IPC Mexico decreased 0.14% to 46,794 from 46,858 in the previous trading session. This was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Joseph Garza. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and of course log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.